So Richard Switzer is going to come here from TWG and talk about how we can do reliable and trustworthy digital identity at the call center. Richard.
All right. Thank you, Andre. TWG is a software development company, digital consultancy, digital product studio. We have a bunch of sort of different names for what we do. Based in Toronto, we're about 110 people. We work across a wide variety of verticals, across a wide variety of technologies. We do some work with some of the big banks. We do some of the work with some of the big insurance companies. We've been talking to Sun Life and doing some interesting stuff with them as well. Right into doing IoT type projects. We're doing something interesting with MTO around HOV lane enforcement, and getting into a lot of interesting stuff around blockchain. Sam and I came up with an amazing blockchain idea just over at the lunch table there, so I'm happy to talk about that stuff all day. But SecureKey was something that really resonated with me as I started to research them, and then we had Andre come into TWG about a year ago and do a presentation to a bunch of our engineers, because I've worked for CBC for about 5 years doing digital product over there, worked at the Globe and Mail for another 5 years after that, and in both of those instances dealing with users who are registered on those sites to comment, to receive newsletters was a huge part of what I was dealing with, and storing usernames and passwords and the security around all of that was really was a huge challenge, and it was a big concern. And I really never thought that there was a credible alternative to having some sort of user registration and a login method until I saw what SecureKey was doing. And that was very exciting. And the more I've learned about it, the more I've been convinced that this is definitely something that can solve some huge problems for a lot of different companies. So a little bit about why we think this is. I have to go back and read what I wrote here a couple days ago. But security is it's very challenging. It's very hard for you to get right, and in most cases, security is not the core competency of your business. So just think about we heard Joni from DIAC earlier today talking about just the cost of maintaining usernames and passwords being upwards of a couple hundred dollars per year per user. If it's not your core competency, most smart MBAs will tell you to outsource that, get somebody else to help you do that. And I think that's another big value that SecureKey brings to this. So we're going to take a look at a use case here, and this is something that I think all of us can relate to. When you call into a call center in the IVR, the first thing the IVR asks you is to punch in your phone number, and you do that. And eventually when you get a human on the phone, the first thing the human asks you is for your phone number, and you always think, why did I just type that in? Clearly there's something not very effective with this. Or you might get an automated message from your credit card company saying there's been some weird activity on your credit card. We're really concerned about your privacy, so please call us. And you call them, and then the first thing they ask you to do is repeat your credit card number out loud in a crowded room so that we can verify who you are. That's not particularly secure either. So we'll jump into the video here. This is kind of based on a call center where we're gonna go in and we're gonna call. We sort of went with we had the Sun Life and then the Moon Life, and this one is star coverage. So going with the cosmic theme. I'm gonna phone them up, and I'm gonna get the IVR message. So helpfully put it up here on the screen. So it's gonna ask me to punch in my mobile phone number. So I go to my keypad and I punch in my mobile number. And then you can do this. This is pretty easy to set up. If you go on the Twilio blog, which provides a lot of SMS services, they've got a bit of a tutorial about how to use Django and Twilio to set up a call center that sends SMS messages. So now I've got my SMS message. I just typed in my mobile number. They sent me a text. That contains a deep link that goes into the VerifiedMe app, launches the app. In some of the demos, we haven't shown the person actually typing in their bank passcode, but I think that that's an important step because I have to be able to know my own bank password to verify with VerifiedMe. I get into the app, and then if I click on select, again, this is the information that the star coverage CSR is asking about. If I decide I'm ready to share that, I click share, I hit submit, and I'm all good to go. Now, we're going to go to the CSR screen here as well. The phone's going to slide off to the side, and you're going to see what it looks like from the call center's perspective as well. So here, I've got a blank screen at a call center. There's no callers in the queue, but once that connects, oh, Richard Switzer's in the queue. There's his client number. I click accept. and boom, there's all my information. So when the CSR rep picks up, all this information is right there on the screen in front of him. I called Sun Life, and the first thing they ask, because we have coverage, the first thing they ask is, what's your client number? And I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm like pulling out my wallet and dropping things on the floor trying to figure that out. This solves all of that stuff. And like a number of the use cases you've seen here today, they're things that are very relatable. I think they make our lives a lot easier. And I think as the more and more you start to see VerifiedMe used across customer service applications and touch points where we have to share our identity, it'll just become more ubiquitous, more useful, and people will actually start to kind of demand it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard.